Hey everybody, so gonna do just a quick review on my trailer. People were asking me about it and how I like it, so go over some of the pros and cons real quick. I'll also even go over some of the mods that I did, so we'll kind of run through the outside real quick, jam through the inside, and try not to make this very long. Okay, so this particular model is the Cougar 29BHSWE, and basically the Western edition just means that it was built somewhere in the Western states, or wherever the Keystone plant is, which I believe this one is in Oregon somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll start off at the front real quick. And for my trailer, I'm using the Anderson Hitch. If you guys haven't used one of these things are really great. They're super simple and light. I can have my daughter hook this up, my son, my wife, because that part there, your receiver is so light that you can just throw it on. It only weighs like 35 pounds. And then the rest of it is super simple to hook up and disconnect. So I still love that Hitch over a couple of the other ones I've used in the past. So that's probably my still go-to at the moment, especially for this trailer, because fully loaded, I'm 9,000 pounds by the time, you know, I pretty much have all my gear in there and everything. So one thing I did do with the power hitch is I turned the head on it so we could basically open the tailgate and be able to get everything in and out as we need, as we kind of stop and go, depending on where we're going. I did modify the battery box and put in a bigger battery. So I have a 200 amp hour. It's basically one of the 4D batteries, real big. I'll show you that real quick. So as you take a look at this is one of those big Renogy batteries. So this thing is 200 amp hours and it's an AGM battery. So they do have some benefits, obviously, over the, lead acid batteries. I didn't want to deal with maintenance anymore. I figured I wanted something simple, so I went with that. And with this type of battery box, or at least it's basically a toolbox, it's all it is, super cheap, easy mod, is what's nice is that thing, you can't steal it. You would have to take off the propane tanks and a whole bunch of other stuff in order to get that out, and people are going to move on and just get out of there. So that's not going anywhere. All right, we'll move on. And so one of the other things I do like about this model, just to kind of show you, is that this one does come with auto level. This is kind of some of the upgrades that were included in this one. And when you get to a certain size and a certain model into the Cougar, Keystones, they actually come with auto level. So that's one of the added benefits of this particular model anyway. So that's one of the pros, at least I like. You have your solar prep, which is down here, which I rewired that to go directly to my solar controller. And I can show you that in a minute. But you have a nice big pass-through storage, and this goes all the way to the other side. Obviously you can see all my junk in there, and the trailer is kind of in storage right now because for the most part I don't use it a lot in December and January, although it does depend. But I even have my little generator in there, and that thing's actually 23.3 amps. That's the same amount of power that the Honda 3000 has, but in a much smaller package. Just, obviously it's not a Honda and this and that, but it does everything I need to run the AC unit that's inside here. So I just kind of pack that along with me, even for emergencies, just in case if I have to run the AC if I'm stuck on the side of the road. But another option I do like about this particular model too is that this one has the big full-size awning on it, and that allows it to go over both of the doors. So when you're in rainy conditions, you don't have to actually come outside, where some of the doors are actually on the other side of the awning. So one of the other benefits that I do happen to like about this particular model is that at least the awning covers both doors. As I look just down below on the front, you have your full-size spare tire, which is under there, which is the tire carrier, which I obviously prefer it being down here because you don't have to have it on the back where it can damage your bumper. And down here I wanted to see if I could fit 2 spares down there, and I think I can. That's one of the things that I do like about this one, is that you can drop it down and have 2 of them there. From what somebody else was telling me, they're all, hey, throw in an extra spare just in case for your super long trips. I was like, hey, nice idea. So might try that out. Another thing I do like about this trailer is that when you get to a certain size on the Cougar Keystone, is that they do upgrade you to the E-rated tires because you get the heavier axles. So these are 6 lugs, sorry, and I believe, I'd have to double check, but they're like 4,500 pound axles, I believe. And then they also give you the Roto Armor, which is part of the upgrade. So, that's just part of the trailer suspension that they'll give you. And then you have your outdoor, basically your cook area. So it's not really a full kitchen, it's more just an outdoor barbecue area. And so you can see I upgraded from the original Capital grill and went with the Blackstone, and that's a 17-inch, and I probably could have got away with a 20-inch, or the 22, sorry, but I didn't want to change out the whole frame and the kind of original box that it came with, because that actually fit, and I would have had to change the whole thing out, which wouldn't have been too much, but that was kind of a drop and go and real easy to do. And then I can just hook it up to my propane connect right there, and then pretty much good to go. And with a Y adapter on it, I can still utilize my, you know, basically fire pit or another grill if I'm kind of doing double duty out here. So you also have outdoor TV connection here, so you got your satellite as well, along with a plug just right underneath it. So we kind of move on over here, outdoor shower, if you guys need to do a little bit of wash down. And then you have your rear door, which this one goes right into the bathroom. And obviously the fold out steps. As you go to the back of the trailer, you have your basically wireless camera that you can basically buy. It doesn't come with it, but it is prepped for it. So just one of the options on this trailer. So nice option is that big door. Is that thing you can load a lot of stuff in it and a lot of stuff out of it. Kayaks, bicycles. We've had it open to where our dog just will kind of hang out right there and chill, so it's kind of cool. The bike rack or storage rack, this one is a good one because it's not mounted on the bumper, even though it looks like it, but it's actually mounted on the frame. And I did upgrade the hardware because I felt it was a little bit too small. So I ended up taking out the original bolts, put in some larger ones, and now it's a lot more sturdy. And this is rated for, I think it was 225. Yeah, that's right. So 225 pounds on this particular rack, which I'm actually going to modify that rack and put on a, I have some parts coming. I'm going to put it into a 4-place bike rack. But there are some other places that have some bike racks out there on a similar setup like this. Like, so E-Trailer, they actually have kind of a nice rack. It's almost the same one. I'll put a link in the description and you guys can check it out. Maybe that might help you out. You have your other satellite prep here if you want to have you know, plug it in obviously to the pedicle box when you guys back up. And that's obviously where you're going to hook up your trailer. Ladder to get up on the roof. Continue on. So this was one of the cons that I didn't like about the trailer, is that it comes with the 2 gray tanks. You have the other one that's up here on your slide, which is fine as long as you hook it up before. But if you need to dump it, then it ends up being to where you have to kind of crawl under. And it's not terribly bad, but it is just kind of one of the nuisances where I thought it would have been better if they had just moved it up a couple feet that way, or just included the whole thing into the back, and then you wouldn't really have to deal with it. So just one option, I thought. You have your 6-gallon water tank. This is electric and propane, so you have both options. And then water hookups right there, and then the other side of the pass-through storage. Obviously, I've got a ton of junk in here, which it's almost time for spring cleaning soon. So you have your electronic leveling controls that are there. And then I put my solar controller right there. That's an MPPT solar controller, which I'll end up hooking up, about 300 watts of solar. And I have those on a mobile stand. So it just kind of depends on how long I'm going to be gone, what the conditions are like, depending on how much solar I use. Usually 200 watts is pretty standard, and that'll keep me out for days. So it just depends on how frugal you are with your power and also where you're camping. And as we take off inside, we'll hit the front bedroom. And one of the nice things about, get a little extra light. One thing that's nice about this particular model, it comes with an RV king. So this is actually nice. I'm used to having a king bed at home. So it was nice to be able to get this model that happens to have a king already in it. You have your TV prep stuff that's over there, and a lot of area to put clothes and storage in this particular model. If you come over here, open up your little side-by-side closet and hang up a lot of your clothes. And there's a ton of storage up in these bins too, because they go pretty deep. And then you have that little bit of storage, kind of a nook there that's up on the front cap. And that's a DC charging port there. And then those are AC over there for your 120s, along with the little cubbies on each side. Underneath the bed, this one does have, you know, kind of flip this up, and you got a ton of storage down there for dirty clothes, extra blankets and whatnot. So kind of standard there, and you can at least get around to the bed a little bit on each side. So and you have your standard curtains, which it would have been nice if they had put some blackouts in here. I'd appreciate it anyway, and I might add those later on. But got your control panel just outside your bedroom door, which this will obviously operate all your goodies, water pump, your electric water heater, or you know, propane and whatnot, and of course your display panel to show you all your levels. And I ended up hooking up a different battery meter because that there is kind of worthless, I think. I mean, it does a basic job, but it doesn't do very good. Big pantry. take a look at the pantry in this model here. It also has, you know, the motion sensor lights, but this pantry is pretty big. I can shove a lot of stuff in there. You have your water heater that's right down there, but for the most part, at least it gives you a decent amount of space. So kind of move on. As you enter, you have your big kind of kitchen work area here, and this is the upgraded model, so it does have the better countertops. You get a little bit better faucet. You got 2 big storage drawers there, so you can put pots or pans or some other types of materials. 120 outlet there. You have your dinette just right opposite of that with a couple big long storage cabinets underneath. We've never turned that into a bed because we don't really have littles anymore. But for the most part, we will eat there, hang out, play games. And then you have your storage above your sink, your standard microwave oven, and then your range, which you have a nice little decorative backsplash on the back. And then you have your control panel, which will right be underneath. Have a little bit of a decent amount of storage under the sink, which, man, just every time I look in a cabinet, just reminds me of how much it's time to, you know, kind of go through and reorganize everything. Another mod I did do was I added a battery monitor here, which I'm going to be changing out to something a little bit newer here pretty soon, so you guys will be able to update on that. But you can see my voltage and how much amps I'm drawing currently, which, you know, I have a 200 amp hour battery, so it kind of shows you there. And the only thing I have on is just all the lights in here. I have the bedroom lights on all the way to the back to the bathroom, and then you have your panel, obviously, that shows you, or at least houses all of your breakers and everything else. Big Dometic fridge, which for this size trailer, it's actually not bad. So, you know, for the most part, pretty good, pretty standard. So, you kind of move on. A couple storage cabinets above your entertainment center, which the big 55-inch TV never did work in the get-go, which we didn't know because we bought this trailer used. It was only about 7 months old when we bought it. And we never turned the TV on until one day, about probably, we owned it for about a year. We decided to finally turn it on, and it came on for about a minute, and then that was it. So you have a couple big storage cabinets under here, which normally would just shove a lot of games in there, which, well, they were looking for that one the other day. You have your entertainment Furion center here, which that'll play, you know, CDs or movies and such, which I put a separate switch on it. That way this doesn't suck down part of your battery when you're out dry camping. So for the most part, if this is on, this could be drawing, half an amp or so when it's just in the standby mode. So I added the switch, obviously, to, you know, basically conserve a little bit more battery power. And you have your big slide on this side, which has your sofa, which you can turn that into a bed, which we've used a couple times, which is somewhat comfortable for somebody who's not, you know, a larger person, or, you know, the adults can get about a night on it, but after that, you don't want to sleep there too long. Your double bunks that are in the back are the full-size ones. So these are nice. So we did add, you know, basically the foam cushions on top of them because our kids are getting a little bit bigger now. They're in their teens. And so with them being there, you know, the cushion is only 8 thick. So it ends up not being very comfortable. After about 2 or 3 nights, you're kind of wishing you had a little bit more padding. So the bottom one, so you can see this one, this one lifts up and you can lock it into position here. And then you can put a ton of stuff down here. Extra storage underneath. We put chairs in here, and again, the dog will use this as a runway sometimes. And whoops, you do have a little bit of lighting that's underneath, but for the most part, you know, these are great for, you know, bigger kids because they do have a little bit more room. And having a double bunk set up is great because each kid, if you only have 2, obviously can kind of have their own space. So we head into the bathroom real quick. Not a whole lot that's special in here. Has just your basic bathroom. One thing I would have liked would have had to been the bigger bathroom shower stall, because I'm not a real big guy. I'm 5'11", about 195 pounds, but it, you know, you're just fighting the shower curtain the whole time. It's not very wide in general. That'd be one of the things I would trade my camper for, is a nicer bathroom. A Rockwood model has the bathroom that's up in the front, right next to the bedroom, but you do get the nicer porcelain toilet, and it does have enough room in here to be able to do everything like your business and whatnot. You have the upgraded countertop and sink as well. And in the vanity, there's, well, not a whole lot of room in the vanity. Is pretty standard for the most part, but you do have storage underneath. And I ended up adding this little heater I had another one there before, but this heater works great. I use it just to pre-warm the bathroom because sometimes when you are in colder locations with that big door, it's not insulated very well. So the bathroom would be super cold and the rest of the trailer would be nice. So that little heater does a great job at basically keeping this warm, so when you want to go in there and use the bathroom or take a shower, it's nice and toasty. And so just a nice little option, but use them at your own risk, those things, you know, just in case. So for the most part, that's kind of the rundown on the trailer on this particular model. And again, I mean, this has more pros than it does cons. Again, like I said, the only two things I really don't like is the other gray tank that's on the other side, because you have to crawl under there. It makes it a little bit difficult. And the shower stall. I wouldn't mind just, you know, a little bit bigger shower stall. But other than that, this trailer has pretty much been flawless. The only problem I had with it was the water heater actually didn't ignite for a little while, and the control board went bad, which that wasn't the dealer's fault or the manufacturer, because they don't get those, they don't manufacture them. Another company does, which it possibly is I forget, it might be Dometic on that one, but they had a whole bunch of control panels that were bad, so they had to replace a ton of them in a lot of different models. So can't really blame, you know, Keystone for that or anything. But overall, totally happy with this trailer for my family. For the most part, it does everything we need it to. I wouldn't mind upgrading to a better bathroom. That's probably the biggest thing as far as a complaint. But other than that, I wouldn't mind a little bit more ground clearance, because those back jacks, and not to mention the back set of steps, depending on where you go, because sometimes we will go off into a few trails, it does sit a little bit lower. So that's why you may not want to take this one into some of the back roads too far, unless you know the terrain or wherever it is you're going. But anyway, hope you guys liked the quick video. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. And until then, I hope to see you guys next time.